How the heck are you guys? I am Fastidious. Should you summon on the Numera and Valeria banner? For the first time in a long time, I'm actually releasing this video the day of the banner instead of a couple hours before or a day or two before. I apologize for that, but actually it turned out to be a blessing because there might be something fishy with this banner. I have never heard this many complaints about bad rates. Certainly not since they equalized the rates and they made it 20x. I've heard of many people already, just a couple of hours this banner has been live, reporting that they've pulled 8, 10, 12, even more than that, legendaries on these rate up banners, the Divine one and the Special Invocation of Spirits, wherever that is, the Rares and Diamonds one, and they're saying they didn't get any. So, if you, I got to say, so many comments being like, wow, I never hit the banner hero. I pulled 2 heroes. I pulled 3 legendary heroes. I pulled 4. That's not enough. That's not enough to guarantee anything. You got a 19% chance to hit each of these guys, or that's what it should be. So 38% each pull that you hit a legendary, that it will be one of those 2 rate ups on these standard banners. So, missing twice, you're talking about almost a 40% chance you're going to miss twice. It's basically a coin flip. But if you pull 5 times, if you pull 8 times, if you pull a dozen times, you should not be missing, especially not on both. Maybe if you're hunting Numera, you're getting unlucky and you keep hitting Valeria. But I am hearing of people swinging and missing. So I will have a sheet to track your summons. If you already summoned, please only fill out the sheet if you remember exactly how many legendaries you summoned, and then exactly how many of those legendaries you summoned, specifically just on these banners, obviously not counting the crazy 2x banners, but on the Numera Valeria banner for the Divines, the Gold summons, and the Special Invocation of Spirits, the Blue and Diamond summons. I need to know the total number of legendaries you summoned, and I need to know how many of that total were Numera and how many of that total were Valeria. I tracked this 2 weekends ago and 3 weekends ago. I didn't think we needed to because the results are pretty definitive, but I've heard crazy stuff. So are the rates rigged on this banner? I'm kind of hearing yes, but we need data, not people saying stuff. So fill out those forms, but please make sure you remember correctly. Also, if you keep summoning, you can just resubmit a new form every time, just what you've summoned since the last one. The forms are really self-explanatory. Just click on the link. It takes 5 seconds. Do it. But should you summon, assuming the rates aren't rigged? Abso-freaking-lutely. Numera is just phenomenal. I've shown her off with Vixera. I showed her off a little bit with Nastia. I'll have a guide on her coming out later today. Even if you just run her with frickin' Lunaria, man, I mean, the multipliers are really, really, really good. She does a lot of special things with this Grimhorn Spike kind of thing, with her poison explosion. I'm looking for her true damage right now. She's got damage reduction too. Here's the true damage. These Grimthorn Roots, this is like a continuous true damage thing scaling off of her attack, but she obviously has pretty high attack as a fighter. I mean, for a magic fighter, 4,800, pretty dang good. All in all, this is just a rockstar kit. She's one of the best DPS in the game, full stop. Not too much more to it. I've heard some people saying, should we skip? Should we wait? You should, in no way should you put yourself in a position where if they ran a limited banner next week, you wouldn't be able to get it. So remember, for a limited banner, not counting all the rewards you get from events, which usually with a limited banner, there's a lot of rewards, a lot of login stuff, a lot of events. Not counting that, you want to be sitting at the start of that week of the limited banner at about 150 summons, because you need to get to about 175 to guarantee you that once you pull those 175, if you haven't hit, you can take all the rares you got, sell them for diamonds. That'll make up about 25 to the low 30s of extra summons. Thus, that will put you to 200. So no way should anyone pull lower than that unless you're a spender. But if you have a lot saved, this is about as good a hero to do it on. I've got a decent bit saved. I haven't gotten my April diamonds yet. Who really cares? But, I'm at just about 30,000 diamonds. I think I'm getting close to 200 summons over here. Let's take a peek. 228, actually, past 200 summons. I'll probably end up pulling all of this if I get unlucky. I mean, she is that good. The other thing I would want to talk about is, even with just Lunaria, she's really good. But for a lot of people, you're not going to need Nastia. As long as you can fit Vixera, who, by the way, we're all getting for free, right? Where's the freaking... I guess they moved it because it began. But, all these Vixera logos, the Vixera summoning event, or Shard summoning event, the fusion has begun. Everyone that plays daily will get her without trying. As long as you can fit her into the team, you can run Numera with a Yovar or an Araka, as long as Vixera's there, and I'll showcase this in the guide later today. She's just putting out the acute poisoning. There's not too much more in her Lord skill that's going to help Numera besides the reduction in cost. But just with that acute poisoning, and then you get like a huge boost from an Araka or a huger boost from Yovar, it's going to be like you had Nastia. The downside is you're using Vixera instead of Nastia on the field because they both need to be deployed to get that acute poisoning debuff out. But Vixera still does really good damage, one of the best epic boss DPS in the entire game. So, I mean, it's just a great hero. It's just a great kit. It's 900 cost. So, the ultimate here, it'd be cool if you had a Esotericist Lord to drop that. But you can also run her with a Piercer Lord. Yovar's actually going to give a bigger damage boost after a minute than Nastia can. So the only downside is you just have to deploy Vixera. You have to. But for most accounts, you're going to be thrilled to. It's only the very late and endgame accounts where you're like, dang, I wish I had Nastia. It's actually kind of crazy to think about. If you had a Yovar and you were fairly early to mid game, there's an argument maybe you're going to want to run Vixera anyway. Obviously, if you had Nastia, you still would. But the difference between Nastia and Vixera's damage, though it exists, isn't so huge that you're so upset that you had to run Numera on the other side. It's really just want the acute poisoning, and you want Numera to completely pop off because she is the queen of the boss DPS in the right setups now. And they are making the right setup easier for us to accomplish, or closer to the perfect setup, a correct setup, by giving us Vixera for free. So should you summon, I literally think everyone should, whether you're free to play or you spend $75,000 a month on this game, anyone in between. The only way you shouldn't summon is if you just don't have any summons saved and you're free to play. So, like I'm saying, between your diamonds and your rare summons, you're going to want to make sure that you have a total summon output of 150 heading into each week. Because with it, whether it's next week, the week after, within the next 3 weeks, we're definitely getting another limited. And the limiteds are just too good and too guaranteed to pass up while gambling for these banners, regardless of how good they are. So if you want to know what that takes, this is my website, fastidious.gg. Go to max summons, and this is going to show the output after adjusting for a continuous rebate. So what is a continuous rebate? It's assuming after you've done all your summons, whatever it is, it's like 41.5% of the time on any summon from the normal Invocation of Spirits banner, the rares banner, the diamonds banner, you are going to get a rare hero, and then you're going to sell that rare hero for 30 diamonds. So we're under the presumption you're doing that, then you're taking those diamonds, you're reinvesting them, you're summoning again, whatever rares you get, you're doing that. You're taking the new diamonds, rinse and repeat. So it's actually getting to the 150 mark, whether you're doing it through rares or diamonds, kind of covers the gap. Because I think it's 173 or something. Let me see. 173 is 200 summons on average. So how do you get to 173? It can be 173 rare summons, or it could be 100 of these, right? And it could be, what would that come out to? Like 6,000 diamonds? Yeah, something like that. 6,400 diamonds. Let's see that. So yeah, there's a lot of combinations that can get you to the 200, and then you really only need not the 175 total, which is what this is, or 173, or what this is. You can also, count on the fact if a limited banner is coming, you're going to get your weekly rewards at the start of that week. There's going to be some kind of login event. There's probably going to be some kind of redeem shop, this, that, and the other. Basically, if you're at 150, you're going to be pretty good, because already 150, if we do the continuous rebate, let's actually refresh this. I think I might be overloading it with information. If we toss 150 in here, that's already the 173 too. Heck, if you want to be a little more aggressive, you could probably get away with 120 as long as you're playing hard and you get your weekly rewards and this and this and this, and the event is generous. So the one group of people I would advise not to do this. As good as the banner is, it's still a gamble, and there is a chance we get a limited banner next week, certainly within the next 3 weeks. You don't want to overextend yourself, right? So you don't want to take this thing down to 0 and then you're, hung out in the wind. You're hung out to dry. You're caught with your tail between your legs, and you've got no shot to go for the limited. Everyone else, I would take it down to that number. I mean, until you get the one copy. If we're talking multiple copies, her A1 is very good. Her A3 is excellent. If you're a medium spender, or you have a lot saved, or you're just in love with Numera and you're not going to overextend yourself, going for the A1 isn't a bad idea. It's just a straight up 25% damage boost. If you're earlier mid-game, the guaranteed crit is pretty nice as well. A2 plus 300, we like it. But then the A3, just shredding magic res on everything, especially for endgame content, that is really powerful, right? Ignoring magic resistance is essentially shredding through magic defense for a magic DPS. It's the same thing as ignoring defense for a physical or a piercing DPS. So all in all, I think it's a must summon, but do not push yourself if you're a low spender or a free to play outside of the range for being able to go for a limited. I hope I covered a lot of bases here. Remember, fill out those forms because we need to know, are the rates rigged? I don't know. Let's find out. Thank you guys for watching. I've been Fastidious. Share with your mother, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.